start with Steven Spielberg. And as I played for you yesterday, he thinks that his movie is going to rattle your faith in God. And Hollywood is very excited about this. And quite frankly, I think the government is as well.
This truth were just known overnight. If the government announced, yes, we have been keeping this from you since 1947.
Now we're telling you the truth. Mess
up a lot of people. And the movie also takes the position of the church. What does this do to the fundamental beliefs that many of us have? And, is God our God only on this planet? Or is God a God for every system where there's civilization, intelligent life, and even developing life?
Even developing life. You see, he starts with an evolutionary perspective that rules out God as creator. And I've seen several commentaries about this, many of them on Christian sites. And of course, some of them will go in and make excuses for him. Oh, he didn't say it was going to attack Christianity. Well, what do you think the church is? It's not his synagogue that he's talking about. Of course, you've probably seen, I didn't put it in here, but you've probably seen the video of his mother going to this guy, the false Messiah, Rabbi, whatever his name is, Mearsheimer? I don't know what it is. I can't really remember. But the guy who was a leader of the Chabad. Huh?
Schneerson?
Schneerson, I think that's what it is, yeah. He's the guy that runs the Chabad Lubavitch group, right? And his site was the one where Ben Shapiro and Trump put on their caps and throw their request. They write something on paper and throw it into the grave of this false Messiah. And of course, that false Messiah was somebody that Steven Spielberg's mother famously went to and said, I want a blessing for myself. He's a filmmaker, you know. Very important, because we're going to manipulate people's opinions. And this is just the latest example of it. Again, when he says that is our God, who is your God? Is our God only for this planet? See, right there, he rules out the Genesis creation. Yeah, Judaism today is not based on the Old Testament, folks. Not even from the very first verse, they have issue with it. Or is God a God for every system where there is civilization, intelligent life, and even developing life? So all of these different systems supposedly operate independently of God. They're all just evolving independent of him. He did not create the heavens and the earth. And it kind of throws it in there as an afterthought. Oh, and he created the stars also. Because that is not the big issue here. This is a false theology, if ever there was one. It explores the ontological shock and the social dislocation, he says, of discovering that institutions have been keeping secrets from us. Who knew, right? I mean, you think that the federal government is keeping secrets from us? With their national security state, everything is a secret. Everything is a lie. And so that would include this stuff as well. These are the people who have been on the inside of this for the longest time. And now they're going to tell us the truth. You want to believe that? She questions her fundamental beliefs about the government and the church, the main character played by Emily Blunt. Yeah, again, he's the one who is questioning the church. And this article here from a site called Church Leaders says, after Spielberg referenced faith, some people took to social media to accuse him of destroying Christianity. What do you think a church is about? Let's say Christianity is the only one that uses the term church. That's who he's talking about. One post that went viral noted that the director said Disclosure Day will have Christians and people of faith second-guessing their own religion. But Spielberg, who is Jewish, never referenced Christianity in his CBS interview. Well, he did question God, and he did reject the Genesis account, and he did talk about churches. So I don't know who's getting this wrong. Bottom line
I don't
is
think Emily Blunt's character is going to question her rabbi about
that's right.
her faith after the aliens invade.
Yeah, her Chabad Lubavitch rabbi. Yeah, we can trust him. Well, the bottom line is that this is a movie I'm not going to be going to see, not just because of this, but in general, I don't like Steven Spielberg's films, especially if it doesn't have a soundtrack by John Williams. And from what I've seen, this does not have a soundtrack by John Williams. If you go back and look at what for the longest time was the highest grossing film from anybody, Spielberg included, and that was E.T. Came out in 1982. And it was the highest grossing film until it was replaced by Jurassic Park about a decade later. And I just, so that you understand, it's really about the music, especially for me. I absolutely was not impressed with E.T. when I saw it. At that point in time, I was 27, I think, and we're just rolling our eyes at this thing, the flying bicycles and all the rest of the stuff. But here's the scene without music and then with music.
Yeah! Oh! Ah! Oh my God!
Absolutely stupid. It became the symbol for his entertainment company, Amblin. You know, riding a bicycle across the silhouette of the moon that you're going to see here in a minute. Or actually the setting sun, I guess. Yeah, that became a symbol right there. Now listen to this when the music kicks in. Spielberg rides the coattails of John Williams. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Okay, here it comes with the music. Same scene.
Tell me when it's over!
Yeah, you know, Spielberg himself used that as an example of how John Williams had contributed to his films, and a tribute to John Williams. And I looked at most of the Spielberg films. I got to say, I did enjoy Jurassic Park. I thought that was good filmmaking. But most of them, I just go to a dark theater in a hot area that I live in, sit there in air conditioning and listen to the concert of John Williams music. But anyway, the Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T., the Extraterrestrial, these are not films that I ever really enjoyed. I didn't watch them more than once. Actually, we did watch E.T. a second time with the boys, and just absolutely hates it. And again, Jurassic Park is one of his favorite films, but he absolutely hates E.T. His fascination with the great unknown, he said, began as a child. The actual idea that we've been under observation and are being interacted with is something that I have kind of always hung on to as a core truth. Think about that. His core truth is not, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. That's not his core truth. His core truth is that there's aliens out there. And so what motivated him to write Disclosure Day, he said, was the inequity of information about off-planet civilizations being actually known by some, but not known by all of us. Yet he did know it as a core truth, right? How did he determine that core truth? Well, he says his new movie takes the position of the believers or the curious, the ones that have been certainly deeply affected by this. He says, if this truth were known overnight, if the government announced, yes, we have been keeping this from you since 1947, that would mess up a lot of people. And the movie also takes the position of the church. Again, he's not referencing Christianity, of course, right? And he's not selling you a fictional story. He's selling you the truth that he believes, the truth he's always believed, the core truth of his life. House Oversight Committee's hearings about UFOs, now called UAPs. Why did they have to rebrand it? And just ask yourself that question. What does that tell us? He said, his core truths, here's where he gets his core truths. He said, based on circumstantial evidence of everything I've gathered throughout my whole life, everything that I've listened to, every documentary that I have watched, and these testimonies in Congress, that is the basis for how Spielberg has determined what is true about UFOs. It's absolutely ridiculous.
The most ridiculous source is believing Congress.
Yeah, that's right. Believing Congress and CIA whistleblowers, people who are operating in these secret programs. That's right. So he gets his information from documentaries from some people that he's listened to. He says he hasn't had any experiences, and he doesn't say that he knows anybody directly who's had any experiences. He doesn't consider the Bible to be a reliable source of information, not like testimonies in Congress. The director refuted the idea that extraterrestrial life forms are aggressive, however. So how does he know that? Is it because he's been watching his own movies? They're never aggressive in his movies. He says if they're going to come to all this way to the earth, I don't believe they would come here to essentially colonize us or to do us harm. Well, why? Why does he think that? What is the feasibility of interstellar travel? I talked about that last week, and there isn't any feasibility for that as well. So he says it's going to raise theological questions, but he has no answers. And he has presuppositions that he has taken from questionable sources, and he rejects the standard of truth, the Bible. Again, ontological shock and social dislocation. In other words, why does he say ontological? Has he been talking to Carl Sagan? Well, no, actually, when you look at it, people will break down the way you analyze information. Ontological, you're looking at, in a more subjective way, I think. You're looking at being and reality versus, they typically contrast it with what they call epistemology, which is where you're studying what we have as knowledge and how that knowledge was gathered and determined. In other words, it's a little bit more analytical, more objective, but he chooses not to talk about epistemology, but ontology. It's really what is it reality or is it just a social construct is what he's talking about. And that's what he wants to do. He wants to say that your belief in God is not reality. It's just a social construct. That's why he refers to this as ontological shock. This guy is a propagandist. Understand where he is. A clip of Spielberg's comments went viral on X, saying it would shake the faith of Christians. Many users pushed back on that, yet he is setting himself up as opposition to God. I'm creating an ontological shock, and I think it's going to dislodge people from their beliefs in God. He said, one person said, the only people who think the existence of aliens would mess with Christianity are non-Christians who don't understand the first thing about Christianity. They don't understand what we consider to be the standard of truth. They don't understand epistemology either. This is the editor-in-chief of Crisis Magazine who said that. So there's been a heightened debate amongst Christians, some claiming the phenomenon are inextricable with the occult and the demonic. Again, from the people I've talked to, that is the majority opinion. And I agree with that. I think it is, first of all, deception. I think all deception is fundamentally demonic. The common man. They created Common Core to dumb down our children. They created Common Pass to track and control us. Their Commons Project to make sure the commoners own nothing. And the communist future. They see the common man as simple, unsophisticated, ordinary. But each of us has worth and dignity created in the image of God. That is what we have in common. That is what they want to take away. Their most powerful weapons are isolation, deception, intimidation. They desire to know everything about us while they hide everything from us. It's time to turn that around and expose what they want to hide. Please share the information and links you'll find at thedavidknightshow.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. If you can't support us financially, please keep us in your prayers. thedavidknightshow.com.